Hey guys, this is the King of Weebs here. I want you all to go and follow me on Twitter and also join my Discord to ask me questions for my Q&A video on the 11th. And I hope you will all enjoy this new part to this What If. And let's get right into it. Welcome back, guys. This is the King of Weebs here, and this is What If Naruto Left the Village Part 8. You guys were close to the let go, but what happened is that yesterday I didn't make any videos, and on my Discord, if you guys are in my Discord and you are actually active, you can see that I actually was typing and said that since today I was really tired and it's none of your fault and it's actually my fault for staying awake for the whole night. I said I will make the videos today without the light goals, and I will be resetting them to lower light goals since it was my fault that I wasn't sleeping well and I wasn't putting up much content. So today I will be uploading 4 videos, and the light goal for this for the next part won't be over 100. I'll put it back to 80. If you guys hit 80, which is really easy for you guys since you guys usually always smash 100 and plus, I'll make the part 9, and then we will keep going up again. So if you guys are able to get part 9 from me, I will be making a 90 light goal, and so you guys understand where I'm going with this. And I will be making another part to a different What If after this, and I hope you all enjoyed this. So last time we left off with Naruto basically telling the Raikage and showing him that the tail beasts have a soul, and also he actually became friends with the Killer Bee and Yugito, and now him, Gaara, Yugito and Killer Bee are all friends. So even though they are younger than them, they can relate to how they've been feeling, except for Killer Bee, because Killer Bee never really Killer Bee and Yugito can't relate with the hate because they were actually respected, but they can relate with the feelings that they had, because some people did hate them and did say they were a waste of space, but they got punished for it by the Raikage. But in the village hidden in sand and the leaf village, they didn't get punished for it, and the Raikage did hear about this and is like, why are you not punishing your villagers? And Naruto said, there's no need, I left this village, I don't like it anymore. The only people who really cared about me were the third Hokage, but he couldn't really do anything since the third Hokage has the responsibility to protect the village. And an Anbu ninja who's now a Jonin team leader, Kakashi. I really like him. He's really kind, and he did stop me from committing suicide. And the Raikage is like, wait, what? Committing what? And then Naruto tells them the whole truth, that he has been feeling about him wanting to commit suicide as a 6-year-old and as a 5 or 6-year-old, and they're like, what the hell, is this village that bad? They're making a 6-year-old feeling like this. And the third Hokage is that, well, you see, in our village it's not too unusual for the villagers to be like this. I don't understand why, but I can't really do anything about it. And and then Naruto cuts in and says, oh, it was for the best. Now I have met new people, I got a new family. And they're like, who? And do you remember Haku, the one that came out of nowhere, now is helping out with the village, going on patrol in case someone else comes in, because Haku thinks it's kind of his fault that the village got attacked, since he was taking so many days off, and maybe he could have been able to help out better. But so this time, for the next 2 weeks, he will be working full time. And they're like, oh, so that's your older brother, and who's your father then? And he says Zabuza. He was a rogue ninja, but now he became a ninja for the sand, and he was forgiven for his crimes. And they're like, guess they both love you, don't they? And then they ask Gaara how his life was, and then Gaara says, well, my life was pretty much the same and even my father hated me. And then the Raikage kind of gives him a death stare that, how could you? You should be respecting your son, and especially since he's a Jinchuriki. And Rasa says, I never really hated my son, but the pressure got to me, and they understand and they forgave Rasa, and the Hokage didn't really mind Rasa since they're friends, and the Raikage is starting to make friends with Rasa and the Hokage. Even the Hokage is pretty old, he can still make friends, of course. And then he says, well, my life changed when I met Naruto. Naruto has changed my life for the best, and all the villagers that hated me now respect me and love me, and they even love Naruto. And that kind of makes Yugito feel a bit sad for them two kids who had to go through all that for being the Jinchuriki of the One and Nine Tails. But she sees that they have grown into better human into sorry guys, she can see that they have grown into human beings that are better than most adults nowadays, and she thinks to herself, these two kids, they're going to be great in the future. And she's saying that they could become Kages, and also that they can become saviors of the world and bring peace, because Naruto does still want to bring peace to the world. Well, and then Jiraiya appears out of nowhere and says, so who beat Orochimaru? And the Raikage says, well, he ran away since he had no chance against us. And Jiraiya's like, Naruto, I guess you helped them out, didn't you? And Naruto's like, yeah. And did I see Naruto learn the Rasengan? Well, if I didn't, he did learn it, yeah. And while this is all happening, the Raikage does have go back like in the first week and apologizes again, but they're like they forgiven him, and the Raikage now made the peace treaty with the sand and the leaf, and then basically Naruto still had a week. In that week that the Raikage stayed, he did make friends with Umui, that random clown ninja, and they did hang out with Choji Shikamaru, and I'll say Shino did start making friends with Naruto, and also Kurai did make friends with Choji. Yes, that ship will still happen, and I don't even know how that happened. First of all, like what like once I saw them together, I'm like, wait, what? When did this happen? And so I want to make that a bit more logical, and I'll say that they became good friends and they started liking each other, but they didn't show it to others, even though they showed it to each other. But then Naruto, I was going to do a Naruto and Fu shit, but I've realized that I have something better in mind, a plot twist to the storyline. You know how I said this story might become might end well, this I never said that, but I'm lying. So what I was thinking in my head about what to do with the story, I was thinking of Naruto saving all the tail beasts, and so all the Jinchuriki will live happily ever after, and then make Naruto ship Naruto with food. But then I realized that if I just do that, the story will be boring, and the Akatsuki won't have anything to do with this. So there will be a little bit of a plot twist there. So, well, you guys didn't know, I knew, and it was actually pretty impressive that I thought of it. I'm not really good at storytelling. I know people have been telling me that I'm really good, but I don't think I'm the best at it, especially since I'm not that big. And anyway, let's not get into that. So Naruto does hang out with them, and he does notice Hinata spying on them, and he says to bye to the group and says, I'm going to go hang out by myself. And they're like, wait, what? Why? And he's like, I just want to meditate a bit. I feel a bit dizzy. And Kurama knows he's lying, and he's like, kid, why are you lying to them? And Naruto's like, you see, and then Kurama realizes that he's thinking of Hinata, and he's like, so you do like her? And Naruto's like, no, I don't. And because Naruto has started feeling a bit more like romantically of Hinata, because he realized how much Hinata cared about him in the past 6 years, and that she actually came to visit him, and that she was one of the only ones who actually cared about him. And so Naruto goes to Hinata and says, "Hey Hinata, I've noticed you've been following us." And then Hinata's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And Naruto's like, "It's fine. Do you want to hang out with me?" And Hinata blushes at that and says, "Are you sure?" And Naruto's like, "Yeah." He is kind of shy with Hinata as well now, because he doesn't know that he likes her yet, but in his heart is telling him to go with her. And the others do notice that. Even Gaara was with them. Gaara knew something was up, so Gaara told them, "Wait, how about we follow Naruto?" And they're like, "Why?" And then he's like, "I think Naruto likes someone," and because he did notice Naruto looking back a few times, and he noticed Hinata as well, and he saw them two looking at each other, and Naruto turned around and he was a bit red, and he realized that Naruto must like Hinata, so they are following him and hiding their presence, and they see that Naruto does. And then out of nowhere, Ino and Sakura, they're like, "Hey guys, what are you guys doing?" To Shikamaru and Choji, and they're like, "Oh, we're hanging out with our new friends." And they're like, "Can we hang out too?" And they all hang out, and they see that Hinata is talking to Naruto, and they're like, "Wait, what? Hinata's talking to Naruto? Wait, what? Wait, when did this happen?" And so Naruto and Hinata do go, let's say, to the ice cream shop, and they do get ice cream, and Hinata is talking to Naruto, and then Naruto asks Hinata, "Hey Hinata, I want to ask you, why did you come to visit me 6 years ago in the hospital?" And Hinata says, "Well, you see, after what happened 2 years before that, when you protected me from the bullies, I've always admired you and thought you were really brave, and I've always wanted to be with like you." And she was gonna say be with you, but then she said like you, and Naruto did notice that, but he didn't pay too much attention to it, and he shrugged it off. And then Kuroma's like, "This kid, what an idiot." And because he noticed exactly what she was saying, and he's like, "Wow, Naruto, you idiot, you just missed your chance there." And then basically Naruto's like, "Well, you see, I've thought of this, and I think you're really uh, a really good shinobi and ninja," because he did see her fight, and he saw how determined she was, and his ninja way now changed, not only to just saving the tail beasts and bringing peace around the world because of Jiraiya. He has changed him as well. He says, "I will never go back on my word, and I will never leave my friends." And so Hinata says that's a really good goal in life, and Naruto asks her for what her goal is, and she blushes at this because her goal all this time was to be with Naruto, but she can't say that in front of him. And Naruto's like, "Come on, please tell me." And Hinata's like, "I'm too embarrassed." And Naruto's like, "I promise I won't laugh." And basically she's like, "Promise?" And he's like, "Yeah, pinky promise." And she tells him, "Well, my goal was to find you and be with you, but now that I found you, I don't think I can be with you, since I believe you have people that you must like in the sand village." And Naruto says, "Well, I don't really like anyone yet." And he is blushing at this, and he says, "Maybe us two can become a thing," because he wants to be with Hinata. He is starting to feel like Hinata is the girl like that he wants. And Hinata is blushing at this, and then she's like, "Anyway, should we go?" And Naruto's like, yeah, I think we should." And it was getting pretty late, and then Naruto's like, "Hey, do you want to start a bit of training with me, because I'm going to start training?" And Hinata's like, I'd love to." And so basically, in for the next 6 days, they train together, and they bond really well with each other, and their relationship has gotten a bit deeper, and they're really liking each other. And while all this is happening, the Akatsuki does still come back to the village. Well, Itachi and Kisame, and I'll say Kakashi does still try to fight them, and he's put in a coma. And Naruto does find out, and he's really angry at this, and he wants to go fight them, but he cannot yet, since right now, even with Naruto in KCM, he is strong, but if he were to verse the whole Akatsuki on his own, even Itachi and Kisame will be able to beat him, since Naruto isn't, he might have KCM, all the Rasengan types, but he does not have, uh, enough experience to beat the Akatsuki. Like, look at Obito, he has a lot of experience. Pain, he can just pull and push Naruto every 5 seconds, and Kisame, he can just absorb everything Naruto throws at them. Even Pain, one of the paths of Pain, can do that. Itachi, he can just put him in a mad genjutsu, he probably won't be able to get out. We don't know, we still have, Jinchurikis are immune to genjutsu, but we don't know about the not Koto Matsukami, I mean, the, what's it called, the Tsukiyomi. And also, people might say that Tsukiyomi is not unbreakable, Sasuke broke out of it, but if you guys didn't know, Itachi let him break out of it. He didn't actually try to literally end the fight there, because Itachi wasn't trying, and he wasn't about to kill his own little brother, the one that he loved, the one that he gave everything for, and whatever. So Naruto found out, and then they tried to heal Kakashi, but no one could. And then Jiraiya's like, I believe there's only one person that could do this. And then the third Hokage is like, I agree. And the Raikage and the Kazekage like, what do you mean? And they're like, Tsunade, she is the best healer I know, and I believe she can heal him. And they're like, well, us, from what we've heard, there isn't Tsunade out of the village right now. And they're like, yeah, she's been out for the past 12 years or something. And they're like, wait, what? And Jiraiya told them that Tsunade left the village. She's not a rogue ninja, but she doesn't consider herself as a shinobi anymore, or a leaf shinobi to be exact. And they're like, well, I'm going to go and try to find her. I'm going to ask Naruto if he wants to come with me, since he is my student now. And the Kazekage is really happy to see that Naruto now has his own Jonin team leader. Well, not Jonin team leader. His Jonin. I didn't really mention Naruto's Jonin team leader, and well, Temari's team. I'll just say that they were two random Jonins, and let's say they are on patrol. So Naruto is asked by Jiraiya, and on the week that basically the cloud would leave, and Naruto's like, alright, I'll do it, but in one condition, if you allow Hinata to come with us. And he's like, yeah, sure, why not? And so basically, on the day that the Raikage leaves with his men and the two Jinchuriki, Naruto leaves with Hinata and Jiraiya, and they say bye to everyone. And basically, Naruto's like, if this takes more than a week, I'll come back. And then Jiraiya's like, yeah, I'll probably drop you off, and don't worry, we'll wait. And Naruto is like, alright, anyways, see ya. And he's talking to the Cloud Ninjas, and they say bye because they have to go two different ways. And while Naruto, Hinata, and Jiraiya are walking, they're talking about these new techniques that they learned together. And Naruto did try to teach Hinata the Rasengan, and Hinata did actually master the first two steps, because her chakra control is actually really good. And Jiraiya is impressed by Hinata and says, what are your two chakra natures? And Hinata's like, I'm not sure yet. And then Jiraiya's like, haven't you tried them yet? And Naruto's like, oh yeah, I forgot about them. Well, I guess we can try that now. And they're like, well, yeah, whatever. So Jiraiya just had the paper on him just in case or something. I don't know why. So leave me alone. So they see that Hinata has wind and water. I won't give her ice release, just saying. Well, I could, but I'll say no. And so basically, they find out that she can use water and water release and wind release. So Naruto's like, oh, she can learn the wind style Rasen Shuriken and the water prison Rasengan or the water needle Rasengan. And Jiraiya's like, we can teach her all of them on a later date. Right now, she needs to master the Rasengan first. And Naruto's like, yeah, you're right. And basically, what happens here is that Naruto doesn't get attacked by well, I'll say he does. He actually does, yeah. So they get to the the hotel, and Jiraiya leaves Naruto and Hinata, the two lovebirds, alone, and he says, well, I'm gonna go do my research. And Naruto's like, alright, be pervy sage. And then Hinata asks what's his research, and Naruto's like, well, peeping on girls. And Hinata says, what you are? And they're like, whatever, let's how about we start training your Rasengan? And Hinata's like, yeah, sure. And she's really happy to be trained by Naruto again. And I'll say that, let's say in like half an hour, and they hear a knock, and Naruto does feel the amount of chakra that these two people behind the door have. And he says, hey Hinata, wait, stay back, I'll open the door, keep the window open. If they try to attack us, you run away. And Hinata's like, no, I can fight too. And Naruto's like, please Hinata, we don't know how strong they are. And Hinata realizes that Naruto is being serious, and she says, alright. So she opens the window, and Naruto opens the door, and she's ready to run at any time. And they're like, this must be Naruto Uzumaki. What a pipsqueak. And basically Kisame tries to slice him, and Naruto goes into KCM, and he holds the sword. And he doesn't know about Samahara's special abilities. And then Kisame is like, ha, fell for a kid. And he starts absorbing Naruto's chakra. And basically Naruto is out of KCM because he absorbed this chakra so quick that Naruto couldn't even notice. And he realized that they're in trouble. And then out of nowhere, Sasuke arrives and says, Itachi, I'm going to kill you. And basically he's jealous of Naruto, who isn't even a Leaf Shinobi anymore, and his brother, who used to be a Leaf Shinobi, is looking for him and not for his little brother. And he's angry at Naruto and his brother. He's jealous of Naruto, to be honest, and he tries to attack him. And of course the same things happen here. Naruto does tell Hinata to run, but Hinata decides to actually stay, and she blocks off a few chakra points until basically Kisame tries to slice her. And Naruto is basically is that nah, and he basically goes into KCM2. Kurama is giving him chakra. Since Kurama now is out of the cage, he can give him a lot more chakra. And Naruto literally holds the sword, and he knows he's about to absorb his chakra, but what he does is he kicks Kisame on the face. So he goes, Kisame is sent back a bit, and then he tries to throw a kunai at Itachi. He hits Itachi, but then Itachi turns into crows, and crows surround him. And basically he sees Itachi everywhere, and Itachi's like, I'm about to put you in a genjutsu, Naruto Uzumaki. And basically what Naruto Naruto realizes that if he gets taken out, everyone here will die. And then out of nowhere Jiraiya appears and says, I guess you two are the two that put Kakashi in a coma. And they ran away because they didn't want to verse what's his name, Jiraiya and Naruto at the same time, because they know they will lose like that, because Naruto will be able to regain some chakra. And they have someone who is actually pretty strong, and a Hyuga that is actually pretty strong, that can block chakra points, and they don't want to get into that sticky situation. And Kisame is kind of his pride is hurt, because he realizes he just had to run because two kids were with the legendary Sannin. He could have taken the legendary Sannin on with Itachi, but then he had to run because two kids were there, and they were actually pretty dangerous. That, wow, kids these days. And while this is happening, a crow was sent to the third Hokage with information about the Akatsuki, and the third Hokage gets this, and he reads that the Akatsuki you have to gather the tail beasts in order. So the one tail, the two tails, the three tails, the four tails, all the way to nine tails, and to realize that the first target is Gara. So Gara will be heavily guarded from now on, and I'll say Gara doesn't become the Kazekage yet in the time skip, anyways. So uh. Then Might Guy appears and he takes Sasuke back to the Leaf, and now they have to get Tsunade even more. And they realize that if they stay in the Leaf Village will be targeted. So they decide to move and they go back home, and they tell Zabuza and Haku to remain here and say this is your new home. Naruto has to come back to the Leaf Village, and the Photokage is confused at this and says, "Wait, why?" And then Rasa says, "Well, you see, my kids have been telling me that Naruto has a love interest," and Zabuza's kind of annoyed at this because Zabuza realizes that Naruto is just a kid and he's already dating someone, and he says, "That insolent brat, how dare he? He didn't even get permission from me." And then basically Haku calms him down and says, "Hey, Zabuza, calm down. It's Naruto's life. He can go out with anyone he wants, to be honest." And then Zabuza's like, "He's my kid. He will not go out with anyone until I give him permission." And then they all start laughing, and Zabuza's like, "Why are you guys laughing?" So basically, Zabuza has Bakugo's attitude. You know his personality, how Bakugo is in My Hero Academia. If Deku does something, he gets jealous or something. He's not jealous of Naruto having a girlfriend, because he doesn't, and he's just worried that Naruto will change and will become one of those. I don't want to say the word, but whatever. So he's worried that Naruto will change and everything, but he shrugs it off and says, "Whatever. I'll scold him when he comes back." And then he asks, "But why do we have to stay here?" And then the Rasa says, "Well, you see, Naruto may be a Sand Shinobi, but I've been thinking of this for a long time, and Naruto deserves to come back to his village. I'm sure most of the villagers now pretty much love Naruto for saving them. And I'm not saying I want to give Naruto up, but he needs to get over this, and he needs to go back to his village. And a shinobi shouldn't be shouldn't leave his village for another one." And they understand that because they've been taught that and they know that that's just pride in Rasa, and Rasa's pretty prideful, and he wouldn't like his son to go, even if he's hated, and he wouldn't want his son to join, like, let's say, a different village like the Leaf and leave the Sand. And they understand, and they're like, "Alright." So Rasa says, "You can keep your headbands, you can be a shinobi for both villages, but I want Naruto especially to be a shinobi for the Leaf." And then while this is all happening, Naruto does find the Tsunade, and Tsunade does still badmouth the Hokage and says, "That old man, he barely escaped death." And Naruto is utterly he's shocked to hear that, and he's like, "You, you're, I swear he used to be your master. Why are you being so rude to him? You know how much he's done for the village." And then Tsunade's like, "I don't care how much he done for the village. He and then Naruto's like, he's your master. Why?" And then she's like, "Just leave me alone, kid." And basically Naruto does still challenge Hinata. Not what Hinata? I mean, he still challenges uh Tsunade into a fight, and he kind of bodies her, but he's not trying. But he does he underestimated her way too much, and plus he's kind of chakra drained because of what happened in the past 2 days, and is that, "Damn, my normal chakra hasn't come back yet." And the Ninth was like, "Just let me just use my chakra," and Naruto's like, "No, I want to try on my own." And it's like, "Alright, brat." And then Naruto's like, "Who you calling brat?" And so sorry. And okay, so sorry, I was reading my script, and Naruto does still try to beat her with his own chakra, but he still doesn't have enough and he gets bodied. So Naruto does still make a bet. Well, she makes a bet because she sees that Naruto flopped the Rasengan and she thinks that he doesn't know it, and she's like, if you can master the Rasengan, I will come back to the village, but if you cannot, you and I will give you this necklace, but if you cannot, I won't do anything for the village and you will leave me alone. And Naruto smirks at this and says, well, you made the worst choice in your life. And he just makes a Rasengan, and she realizes that she just lost a bet and she has to go back. And so and also Orochimaru won't search for her because his arms haven't been sealed. And now Tsunade is back, and once Naruto comes back, he asks about where did the Rasa go and everyone else, and they say, Naruto, you have to become a Leaf Shinobi. And Naruto's like, but why? And then they explain to him, and Naruto understands, but he's still pretty angry at this. But he realizes that they're correct. They need to he needs to get over this fear of the villagers, and he needs to start working for his actual village, because he knows that his parents, even though they were happy for him for finding happiness, they weren't the happiest parents ever, because they still wanted Naruto to be a Leaf Shinobi, because you know how he has pride in that with the shinobis. And Naruto's like, alright, I'll come back, but in one condition. I get to be in the team with Hinata. And they're like, yeah, alright. So basically Team 8 has 4 members, 4 Genins, and basically I did say Naruto would go back to the Sand Village, but I've changed my mind because I've thought of this, and I realized that I have to have a good plot, and having all the Jinchuriki on one side would mean easy win for Naruto, and I don't want to do that. So basically Naruto does still have to train every day really hard, and so Naruto has basically so Naruto now has mastered a lot of new techniques, like let's say the Great Fireball and other techniques that he has in his arsenal, and now like the Majestic Destroyer Flame. Yes, he learned that, leave me alone. And so basically Naruto is now on a mission. Well, he's gone to train with Jiraiya for 2 years again, or this time Sage Mode training, because they know that Naruto will get attacked. And also I'm messing up my script now. So basically what really happens is that Naruto learns about the Akatsuki, but then he goes and with Tsunade to heal Kakashi. He says hello Kakashi, and Kakashi that, so I guess you and Jiraiya got Tsunade back. And he says also Hinata, and Kakashi's that, well, that's good. And then he basically says, anyway, so how has your training been, Naruto? And Naruto's it's been really good. And so basically then they go to heal Sasuke, and Sasuke is actually pretty angry at Naruto because he basically took the spotlight from him and his brother. And basically Naruto's like, hey, why are you getting so angry? I just got you Tsunade to heal you. And Sasuke's like, I never asked you to help me. And Naruto realizes that Sasuke doesn't care about Naruto getting Tsunade. And then basically Sasuke challenges Naruto, and Naruto says, why though? And then Sasuke's like, shut up and fight me. And Naruto's like, why should I? And then basically what's his name? Sasuke does still drag him to the rooftop, and this time Hinata's there as well with Sakura and Sasuke. I mean, with Sakura, and they still do try to stop the fight. And what happens here is that Naruto doesn't actually use the normal Rasengan. He uses a vanishing Rasengan, so he doesn't have to actually hurt Sasuke. He will just slap his face. And then out of nowhere the Sandfall wait, so basically the same things happened. Sandfall still do come to Sasuke to ask him to join them and Orochimaru, and he's like, why should I join you guys? And they're like, you can get power. And so the Sasuke retrieval arc is the same, just that Hinata is in there as well. And so that's where I'm going to end the what if. I know the last bit was a bit rushed, but I have to make this a bit shorter, since I am trying to make full what ifs. So I made 3 already. I'm probably going to leave it at that. I'm going to start making 2 to 3 again tomorrow, but I'm still going to try to make one more today. Maybe the what if Naruto, well, what if Midoriya was uh was offered to join the League of Villains. And yeah, so anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. Please take care, stay safe, and peace.